day in front of the fans and in Kinnick?
We have a lot of work to do. That's pretty clear. But yeah, spring practice never looks real pretty, and today was certainly no exception to that rule. But I think over 15 days we've made good progress. We've got a young team. The guys have worked hard. And, yeah, we've made strides, but we have a long way to go yet still. So as long as the guys understand that, I think we'll be okay.
Now that the spring's finished, how would you assess Vandenberg's progress?
I think overall he did a good job. He's a guy that's respected. He's a good leader. He's got good leadership qualities, and everybody on the team respects him, the offense and defensive guys. And he's worked extremely hard. So the thing he has to do now is go out and have some success in game conditions, and I think he will. But he'll have some ups and downs too, like most young players. But we're eager to see him play.
Anybody stick out to you either today or throughout the practices in the spring?
Yeah, I think some guys, if you look offensively, Steve Staggs made some grabs today, and he's really had a good spring all along. We've got some openings there right now with 4 guys off last year's team and Marvin being out, so it really gave everybody a good opportunity. I think he's really taken advantage of that. CJ Fedorowicz has made progress, certainly. I thought Adam Geddes had a good spring. Had some injury issues last year and did a good job there. And Jonathan Gim at fullback has done a nice job progressing through December and through the spring. And defensive side of the football, I'd probably look at a couple guys. Dominic Alves has been, I think he's coming along. I don't know if he's game ready yet, but he's certainly improved a bunch. And on the back end, the safeties have done a good job. Colin Sleeper's hasn't played much, he did well. Lowery out on the outside, and Castillo have been fighting. Jordan Bernstein has had a decent spring. So I think there's some good competition. Guys moving around. The young linebackers, Kirksey's done a pretty good job in pitching also. So we have guys that are all moving forward, and going to need to continue that trend.
You got through spring without any big injuries. Now, how nice was that to be able to come away virtually unscathed?
Probably the best thing that happened today too. Yeah, one guy re-injured a hamstring a little bit and a heel problem, nothing major. Our issues really have been more so, for the most part, coming into the spring. We've had a lot of guys with surgeries and different issues, so that's part of the spring. That's part of the reason things will be a little bit ugly usually. It'll be good to get. I think we got about 6 or 8 guys that should be in our 2 deep that aren't working right now. And the good news is I think all of them will be pretty much ready to go in June when the next phase begins.
Marvin's
He should be good. He's been out running around and stuff. He just can't catch the ball with both hands right now, or have contact. But he'll be fine. So he'll be ready to go in June.
Coach, can you talk about that?
Brad's. That's a different discussion. As you know, it's been a long 1 year. They took him off the field in Arizona, and it's not something we didn't fool around with. The only good thing I can say is right now we got some tests back a couple weeks ago that had a good outcome, a positive outcome. So I think we're getting close in on what they think it is now, and I think there's a chance we'll get him back within a month or so. That's me being optimistic. I hope that's the case.
Willie Lowe, is he still here?
He's still in school,
yeah.
And you know what I know as far as he's expressed an interest in looking around. And, we traded voicemails this week, but at the end of the weekend, that's about all I know now.
Coach, what things did Coker pick up this spring? How did he become a better player?
Probably the first thing that would jump out in my mind would be the passing game. It's just something he didn't do in high school. But he's really improved in the passing game, both in terms of catching the football, his protection. His protection is pretty good at the end of the year, and then running routes and just have a little better idea. So he's become a well-rounded back now, and that's great. He's done a nice job. He had a little bit of a shoulder bruise and contusion, so they want to hold him out today from live work. But he's really done a nice job.
What can you say about what he does off the field? I mean, he had a lot of philanthropy back in Washington when he was in high school. Has he continued that?
Yeah, he has. That's just kind of how he's built. And rumor has it he and a former running back at Podolak were making the rounds yesterday at the Children's Hospital. And I found out secondhand that he advertised it. He was over there. I think Ed wanted to jump in there with him, so that would have been a neat thing to witness. Former and present. But Marcus is just he's a remarkably young guy. He's built that way and thinks that way, and in his very quiet way, I think he's done a lot of great things around here already. So we're really excited about what's in front of him.
Do you hold your breath at all whenever he's
got the ball and you don't want to get him hit or anything with the running back fast?
Yeah, and I guess if my kid was tackling him, I might be more worried about that than him. He's pretty capable when he's back there, and clearly we have to do right now is develop some depth there. And Randy asked about some players earlier, but Jason White's done a good job, I think, this spring. He's really made some strides and improved, and DeAndre Johnson's got miles to go, but at least right now you can see he looks more like what we'd hoped he would look like. He's healthy now and moving around a little bit. He's got a lot to learn. I think he's shown some potential too. So, and then some of the freshman class, I think it's realistic to think one or two of those guys might help us next year as well.
The offensive line is a pretty veteran group. How much are you going to lean on them to kind of take the leadership role?
Well, they're going to have to do a little better than they did today. I think we did a pretty good job with holding penalties. I think we had 3 or 4 or 5, I don't know, something like that, and a couple of exchange problems. So, but I think that group will be fine. But we're not there yet by any stretch. And all those guys, we had 3 guys with experience, are all capable of getting better. If we're going to have a good football team, we're going to need that to happen. And a guy like Adam Geddes staying healthy and hopefully getting Nolan going back. He's still fighting some orthopedic issues, and seeing some younger guys develop. But we have the potential to be solid up there, and we're going to need that to be a strength for our football team.
What did you see out of the D-line this spring that you expect to just kind of reload there?
Yeah, I think they're progressing. I mentioned Dominic Alvis. It was good having him out there. Carl Davis missed the first week of practice with a pants marathon injury, I guess, as Norm said the other day. It's a dangerous stroke. But, he came back and got some good work in, and LeBron has done a good job out there, and some other guys are coming along. So it'll probably be more of a committee type thing next year. I think we'll probably play 6 or 8 guys, hopefully. And Steve Bigak and Tom Naro have both been out with surgeries, but we expect them to be back here shortly. And so it'll probably be more of a group effort, I think, than what we were last year, and kind of go from there. And on the place kicking front, Mike Myers has done a good job all spring. Trent's right behind him. Mike, I think, right now is the starter. And I mentioned players that have improved. I think Gary Guthrie, from where he was 3 years ago, it's unbelievable. So, and he'll probably be like James, some ups and downs early, but I think he's shown us that he can be a good punter, so we're excited about that.
What about number 2 quarterback?
I mean, it's pretty even right now. It's that'll probably get determined in August. The good news, I think, both those guys have a chance to improve between now and then. We'll see what they do at that time. But, I think right now kind of even.
Now that spring's over for the 13 guys who are hospitalized in January, are you confident that? No, I was going to ask.
That's been over. Yeah.
No, I was going to. Are you confident that come August they'll all be 100% ready to go?
Yeah, for the most part, they've been 100%. And I can just tell you what I see every day. We've had some guys with orthopedic issues, which is unrelated. But we've all moved on. And, I told the players they're welcome to talk about it today. You're not going to hear anybody in our camp talk about it after the day. I mean, we're moving on. It's kind of like a game that's lost. You move on. Or a game that's won. I think we beat that horse to death. I think he did a good job. He really did a good job. And, we've had some good competition at corner, which allowed us to do it and kind of breed more competition at corner. And I'm not sure what we're going to do. We've got a long time to think about it. And I think one thing about this team, it's a little bit like probably the 08 team or the 03 or 01 teams. There are going to be a lot of moving parts in August and probably a lot of moving parts in September too. You go back to 08. We started that season with Anger and Stampy on the bench. They both emerged as good players, and I could see something like that happening with this group too. So I think we'll have a lot of moving parts August, September, and this has given us a good exposure to look at the combinations back there, something we haven't been able to do yet. And we'll see what happens in August. But I think we have some options available. And, it looks, at least early in the game, it looks like we got some healthy options, which is nice too. So hopefully they're in a early position. We'll see how that goes.
How does he fit in on the receiver? What is he doing?
He's in the mix right now, and he's done some real good things this spring, and then also showing his youth. Don Shumpert the same way. He's shown his youth at times, and he's got to catch a ball a little bit more consistently. But if there's a good thing about a good player being out, a player like Marvin being out, it really has opened the door for those guys to get a lot of work in a lot of different situations, kind of like the young corners too. And so there's a positive in every negative, I guess, and that's the one good thing, at least with Marvin being out, it's giving those guys a chance to get more work. So but that's one of the positions I think that's going to be probably continually evolving here as we go through August and September, and just hope at the end of September we feel pretty good about 3-4 guys at that position. But I think Camonte is certainly in the mix right now, and hopefully he'll continue to improve.
What do you need Keenan? What do you need out?
He needs to play like a starter. Real succinctly, that's kind of what he needs to do. It's his time. He's been here 2 years. He's certainly more than capable, and I think he's willing, and has done some real good things in practice. And now the next step for him is to play with consistency and help fill the void, because we've got Marvin we feel good about, and certainly we need Keenan to be one of those guys and be a leader as well, and then we need the other guys to come along, and I think they will. We're just not there yet, that's for sure. But I think there's every reason to think that he'll do really well the next 2 years.
Is it more than catching the ball with him, Coach?
I don't think so. Playing receiver. There's a lot that goes into it. Catching the balls and end game for those guys when it's that time. But it's blocking and it's doing everything. But I have no reason to think that he won't. It's his time to go. And it's kind of like anything. When a guy hits the field, that's what they work for. That's what they came here for. And he's worked hard. So we expect him to step in there and do a good job. I can't see any reason why he wouldn't.
As the guard, he seems to be another one of the long young players stepping in.
Yeah, we'll see what he does. He's gotten a lot of good work this spring. He did a good job last fall, and right now of the 5, he's 5th. As far as just being, his tempo. He looks like a younger guy, so he's not reacting as quickly to things as you might like. But he's got good potential. He's very coachable. Works hard, and. I think these 15 days will really help him. I expect him to be a much better player in August. And he should be. He'll work hard, and he should be. But we're going to need him to take another step for sure. And a couple more guys in will do the same thing.
Is it a sign of AJ Derby's progress that he's already at a point where he might be pushing one to keep his 2 spots?
Yeah, I think it's neck and neck right now. And AJ's can't really tell you a quick study. He's been really pretty adept at picking things up really from when he got here back last spring. So he gives himself a chance. He's a good athlete, certainly. His throwing's improved, and he just needs a lot of work too in situations, and that's something you can't do sitting on a media. You got to be out there in the field doing it. And, so these practices are really for everybody, but especially some guys who haven't played like that.
Is there anything you can do that would put to rest the AJ Derby to tight end, AJ Derby to linebacker?
Probably start. That's probably start.
Start, yeah.
Is that head coach or assistant coach?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, no, probably start. I think that until then we'll probably be speculating and all that kind of stuff. But we see him as a quarterback. That's what he sees himself as, and we're on board with that 100%. And it's not like we got an 8 deep at quarterback. I mean, you guys saw we got 3 guys out there right now. And, the way we protected during the spring at times, we may need 8 quarterbacks. And I've reminded not just the line, but the other guys who are supposed to be blocking. I'm not sure we could get through September the way we protected sometimes this spring. So I better get a little bit more in tune to our pickups.
You talked a little bit earlier in the spring about him maybe playing some special teams. In what way or shape or form?
We really haven't had those discussions, but you just look at him. He's going back to your question. He is a good athlete that I think could play other positions certainly. So, that might be a decision we'll have to make or discuss it. We will have to discuss it for sure. Do you have a guy like him? Like last year, I think he could have been a good special teams player for us, and he's redshirting. That was a wise thing to do. But next year it might be a discussion. But, now, if he is the number 2 guy, do you run that risk? All those things you got to talk about. We'll see.